and alacrity that I introduce once again my dear friend Peter Maxwell of the Newry and Portadown branch of the Inland Waterways Association of Ireland. You're very, very welcome. How are you?
Thank you, Rowan. That sounded like the introduction that fellow Robinson used to give on the what's it called? The good old days.
The good old, wasn't it good? Wasn't it
Oh
good?
yes, yes.
Absolutely. There was a ringmaster I knew in Duffy's Circus. He might have done that as well.
What was your part in the circus?
I once went to the circus and did an act as a clown.
I'm passing no comments.
For the heck, I know, well dare you. But the crack was good. But I did go to the circus, and there was a man came into the circus. There was a crowd, and he sat down in the front row. And he was an old man. And he was just looking and taking attention. A very gentle-looking man. I always remember this. And no one talked to him, but he smiled here and he smiled there. And I mused in my writing that an angel had visited the circus.
Yes.
It was a nice thought.
Oh, a nice thought, certainly.
And it worked out. You're doing more than nice thoughts. You're building lock gates. And
yes, indeed.
It's been a week of building, and I see it on Facebook. The gates are nearly complete.
Well, we're halfway there, is what we reckon now. 50% there.
Is that called a segue that I've just done? Going neatly from one topic into another.
If it was neatly done, it would be. Yes.
Oh, thank you, Peter. You didn't think that was neatly done?
I think it's a musical term, isn't it?
It is, yes,
so that I'm a Philistine when it comes to music.
I know.
No, leave me with the metal and the materials.
What had you to do with the metal and the materials in the last 5 days?
Well, it's mainly when you go to join two bits of steel together, it's not just a matter of gluing them with super glue or something.
No.
You have to weld them, but you also have to prepare the ends for the welds. Hard thing to describe unless you actually know and see it. See it's the easier way. But for strength, you have to make tongue and groove, not mortise and tenon joint type things as well before you weld. So that's a lot of manual labour in that, though, with grinders.
Are you actually grinding out the butt end so that there's some kind of tooth?
That's right.
Catching tooth.
Basically, that's it.
Metal Velcro.
Yeah, well, almost that, but
yeah,
it's just to get them to slot together like this tightly. So that then you can run a weld around them.
Yeah.
But the rigidity is in the preparation of the joint.
Yeah.
And the welding holds it together.
In wooden boats, we'd call it strip planking.
To a certain extent,
that's
yes,
kind
it
of
would
concave
be
and convex.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
Yeah. But they're all coming on very, very well now. We are next weekend, not this one coming, the weekend after, we should be in a position to finish weld all the gates, and we're getting a professional coded welder in to do that for us, renting a proper big machine. Yeah. Because it's the only way to do it, to do it right, you know.
These gates will last a long time.
Well, according to the gate manufacturers in England, the way we're making them, they should be at least good for 50 years.
Yeah. That's fantastic. So please God, they will see happy days. They will see a time. Andrew, there's someone coming to the door. You might guide them. I have this me directing from the seat here, you see. We're the great exponents of the art of the possible here.
I think it's people looking at your poster there.
No.
Oh, you recognise them.
I've seen more. I've seen more.
Yes. No.
So I think it'll see the day when there'll be regattas again on the canal.
Oh, well, now regatta's a grand word, isn't it? Indeed.
But can't you picture it?
Well, I can, but as I've said before, I think the bit of canal we're going to get opened would hardly be wide enough for the big long oars they have on those 8-man rowing boat things.
Would be gentle.
Yeah, I think that it would be hard to be that wide.
The camaraderie continues, of course. You operate in the middle of the deep midwinter almost. Still, there's no sign of any growth in the flora. But
no.
There's a warmth in the camaraderie between you guys.
Oh, certainly, yes. And when we're moving into the sluice keeper's cottage for the interpretive centre up at Acton Lake there, well, I mean, it's not just warmth and camaraderie, it has a wood-burning stove in it. Wow. So we get the heat from that with some of the trees that we've removed to clear the view of the lake.
So in a sense, you've now got your headquarters.
Indeed, that's what it amounts to, yes.
Your meetings will occur there. Maybe not.
The problem is in the summertime, yes, you could do it, but the evenings in the winter it's dark along there. Yeah. And the towpath's unlit. Oh, yeah. And it's narrow in places, actually. It's probably the narrowest sections of the towpath are in that area. So we're not unduly concerned about having the meetings there. I think it's a bit too remote.
Now, what have we got at the moment in the interpretive cottage?
Well, we have the display panels that were originally there, which have mainly natural history stuff. and then we're adding other ones about the canal. The museum down at Moneypenny's is reducing, or it's changing its display around with the blacksmiths. They're doing a lot of work. They have blacksmiths in there, you know that now, at the weekends doing blacksmithing
Fantastic.
training classes.
Yes.
And they're giving us their surplus panels, which are half a dozen big
Yes.
expensive panels with the mountings for them.
Yeah.
And that's all about the canal and the characters along the canal. We also have a whole archive of photographs we've had printed up and are in a process of laminating at the moment.
Excellent.
Of very stretching over 100 years along the canal.
My goodness.
We also have photographic JPEGs of ancient maps and ancient documents.
Wow.
In fact, we have Brian Cunningham was involved with Philip Donald, and they have translated. I don't know what you call it, from the old survey report done on the canal in the 1800s. It's been reprinted by ourselves.
Yeah.
It's only a low cost print.
Yes.
It's only to pass the information.
But you,
on.
I see, intimately involved in the canal is a good enough phrase to use. You're in it. You get your feet wet. You're there.
Yeah.
You're at the locks. You're walking on stones that were last walked on, 50 years ago, maybe or more. To what extent do you sense the presence of good old ghosts around you from other days?
The only ghost we hear is a fella called Rowan Hand, who used to look after the canal in Newry, make sure he didn't look over. but you see, he used to have a beard. The last time he appeared, he didn't have one. We thought, it's not Rowan's ghost, but actually I see, Rowan, that it was yourself, actually.
Do you know what happened to the beard?
Well, I presume it.
But you know what
I
happened?
presume he didn't leave of his own volition.
It was cut and removed.
Right.
And the hair was cut and removed.
Aye.
Put into a plastic bag, and halfway down the Warren Point Road, on the left, there is a bluebell wood.
Yes.
The hair of the beard and the hair of the head, taken into the hedgerow at the bluebell wood, awaiting the arrival of Mr. Jack Daw, and he will take it and help feather his nest.
Yes, that's recycling.
That's
it's most
good
basic.
That's good
Yes,
recycling.
good recycling. That's
all
the way it's done. Yes.
Talking about Jack Daw and swallows coming back and stuff
Yes,
like
indeed,
that.
yes,
What are you
lovely.
seeing along the canal at the moment?
Well, we stopped cutting trees the end of the month, end of February, and it's unbelievable. You think the birds know, because the following day, the very first day of March, there's Mr. Jackdaw standing beside his nest
with his moustache of twigs.
Well, no, they were just standing there. But quite often you actually find that the female's already in the nest. I mean, you can't see them because they're so low down.
Yes.
So it's surprising how early they will start nesting.
Yeah. Are we still seeing kingfisher?
I haven't seen one recently now, Rowan. I must admit, not
Otters,
recently
you
at all.
thought maybe?
I myself saw what I would think were otter tracks.
Yes.
You see the access across the canal. I'm not going to say where, obviously.
Yeah, of course. Yeah.
But certainly last Sunday morning.
Yeah,
I think I saw them. Yes.
Saw something interesting there. Yeah. The pilot. There is word. I was thinking pilots, lighters, and horse-drawn ships. There is word of the possibility of a very special barge coming to the canal.
Oh, there is some possible word. Yes, there's a barge built in Portadown in 1910, the 31M.
Yes.
And that means that, she's 31B, sorry she is. So she was originally a horse-drawn barge with a B after its name. And it belonged to a fellow who's a member of the association, Mick Farrell from Dublin, who unfortunately passed away in about October. And his barge is up for sale currently on Apollo Dock. She was built in Portadown in 1910. She was never used on the Newry Canal, though. She was built for a Southern Irish company on the Grand.
Yeah.
And we've certainly had people down looking at it and looking into the possibilities.
You're surveying it at the moment. And
basically, that's what it is, yes. And assessing whether or not it's feasible to bring it up, because there's only two places it's going to go. It would be the Albert Basin or Portadown on the river now, not out of the water. We would want it to be kept afloat if it was
Oh,
coming.
God, yes, you would.
Yeah.
You would.
We just don't know the condition of the boat
Yeah,
at all, really,
okay.
and we probably need to have it dry docked.
Yeah. Well, a boat
to
that's
see.
in good condition is a narrow boat that's in good condition is down there, Lorraine Fox's boat.
Indeed,
And
yeah.
she's been very active in opening the doors and welcoming people there.
Yes.
Any
yes.
developments there about her trading license?
There seems to be no movement whatever on it.
My goodness.
None at all. I was down there with her myself on Friday of last week, and got a nice cup of coffee on board. But it's so sad, so short-sighted of the town. That I mean, there's the lady wants to operate a novel business
Yeah.
in the town, and it's all one problem after another. It's desperate.
It displeases me immensely because here is a barge that was good enough for the greatest river in these islands, the Thames.
Yeah.
The Thames that the Romans came up, housed this lovely narrow boat of Lorraine Fox, where she operated a beautiful little simple business just to keep things ticking over. She's got it in the Newry Canal now, and little tiny issues are occurring that are preventing her opening that as a little business. Now, we really need to open our eyes and be a bit more proactive in making this a reality.
It's also the delay. You see, I sometimes we get the impression that it's not just Newry and Mourne Council, it's all the councils, all government departments, in fact.
Yeah.
If they delay you long enough, you lose interest. It seems to be the thing.
Well, she has an opportunity now to strike because we have the new council in operation.
Well, that's it. Yes,
Newry, Mourne
yes,
and
indeed,
Down.
Indeed.
And, maybe this is the moment for her to press forward with it.
Oh, I think it is because that's the way to go. I believe that she will be opening on St Patrick's Day.
Yes.
And she should have a good crowd down there. I look forward to seeing that again.
Yeah, that'll be good.
Yeah.
So that's it. Anything else from your end at the moment?
Well, no, I think that really now the gates have been the major thing we've been at recently. And you've had Brian Cunningham in doing discussing his presentation to the schools, which he has another one to do next week.
Are you getting any feedback on that from the
Yes,
schools?
oh yes, they're very, very pleased. Yes, he's doing another one up in Edenderry in Portadown. I think it's next week or the week after. And then the gardening's coming on. We have people down working on the wee bee-friendly garden at Moneypenny's Lock on this Sunday. We're working in the cottage on Saturday doing the displays, and we're working on the lock gates tomorrow.
Isn't that great? It's a constancy of effort.
Oh yes, yeah. We have to get this done because we're having the grand opening, inverted commas, the grand opening of the Sluice Keeper's Cottage on the 13th of May, unfortunately, for yourself, because I think you'll be away.
I'll be away.
Yes, that's a bit of a shame. I think I'd possibly rather be where you're going to be than in this place.
Down
still.
the south of Spain.
Yeah.
Would be
And we intend to invite the mayor of we call it the ABC councils.
Yes,
Everybody does. Not I think it's something like BACB, BBC or something. We don't know. It's too complicated.
Anyway, you'll be there. But it's all good, and I congratulate you on what you're doing. Our task 40 years ago when we did it, there used to be an old barge that was in its last days on the canal, and we brought it up. John McCann was the barge man, and John would have brought it up into the Albert Basin, and Donnelly and I would have lowered the crane down, the wire of the crane and the hook down and hook into whatever was there, and we dived as well, you see, so we were able to go down and identify the wreckage of cars and connect it up and then come out of the water and then start. And we lifted the wreckage of the cars up, put them onto the floor of the barge, the flat deck of the barge, and then by the end of the day we maybe had 4 wrecked cars there that were taken away by council. So even then wee things were happening. We were tick, 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 tick. I think the clock was turning.
And would I be right in saying that's the remains of that barge are actually just outside the Victoria Lock?
No.
On the bank, or is that a different one?
No, that's a different one. That barge that we used was actually sold somewhere. It went away.
Right.
It's taken away. But that old barge is a complete hulk there at the moment outside the canal.
I thought John McCann had said that was one that used for maintenance on the canal.
No, not that one.
Not that one.
Not that one.
Not at that time.
And
anyway.
hanging around, actually very, very strange. hanging around in the mud at that part of the canal where we're talking outside the lock gates. And I built part of my kitchen with the brick and put them into the inside of the kitchen as an antiquity and a decorative feature. Bricks, red bricks that were made by the company Sloan of Rostrevor.
All right. Yeah,
So that was there, and we got those and took them away.
Aye.
And then on another occasion, I'm reminiscing here, please forgive me. Another occasion, I looked down into the locked chamber 20 years ago, and I saw this huge log. It was, I would have thought 12 feet by 18 inches by 18 inches. It turned out to be sycamore. So on a Sunday morning with 2 cars, we went down and we hauled it out and brought it and put it into a barn for 2 years, dried it out, and I've made my kitchen table out of it.
All right.
Which is a grand
Yes,
thing.
yes, indeed. Yeah.
Listen, I wish you well,
Okay, Rowan.
and a happy St. Patrick's Day.
Oh, and to yourself.
And
We'll be in that, of course.
You will.
We've got our barge.
Well, I shall be commentating.
Our barge. Oh, all right.
and
Very
I'll
good.
be making the right, the right observations as you pass by.
Yes, we have the Eliza, which was a barge built in Newry, I believe.
Really?
Yes. I'm not the historian in the group, but I mean, yes, it has family connections with Newry.
Thanks be to goodness. Peter, go well. Take care.
Okay.
Coming shortly, you guys, I'll tell you what's happening. We have got 39 steps. We have a band with associations with the Magnet Centre, and the folk from there will be talking to me shortly.
So, you want local Newry and